Welcome, folks. This is Tom O'Brien of TFNN. We go 5 days a week. We go 9 hours a day. We go 24 hours a day on the internet at TFNN.com. Always remember, folks, whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows. Hope everyone's having a great day, safe day. Let's make it a great night, folks. Let's take a look at one of our Believe cards. This is a quote by Norman Vincent Pearl. Never talk defeat. Use words like hope, belief, faith, and victory. Market-wise, let's take a look at it out here. We had the Dow Industrials up 5, NASDAQ up 10, S&Ps were flat. Gold contract down $1.40, traded $1,272 an ounce. Silver off 5 cents at $19.65 an ounce. Platinum $1,435 an ounce. Light sweet crude flat at $106.79 a barrel. Bonds, we had the 10-year flat at 124.10. 30-year up 6 ticks at 135.31. King dollar down 188 ticks, trading at 80.46. You had the euro up 31 at 135, and the yen's trading down 20 at 101.84. Our phone number is 877-927-6648. Give us a call, folks. Want to know what's going on in your world. In the world of the S&Ps, what do you have? Okay, we got a flat market. You're at 1937. We did out here volume of 592. You're going into the downdraft, if you can even call it that. It was a downdraft of the 11th. So what you have here is that you did, we did 603 right now versus the 531. We take a look at the SPY, take a look at that correlation. So what the SPY did out here today, you're up 16 cents. You did 76 million shares. And that correlation, we had come down with 106 million shares. So we'd made a high first. The high that was, last high that was generated is on June 9th. That high was at 196.05. You made that high with 65 million shares. You come off the high with 106. You're trying to get into the 194.80, and you had 76. We'll see whether it can test that baby. More than likely, you got to 194.70 today. Let me just see this intraday for a second. Yeah, that can make it up another 10 cents over the 194.70. Dow Industrials. We take a look at the Dow Industrials. What we have with the Dow Industrials is this. Dow was also flat out here. This she is. Oh. Okay, so Dow Industrials flat market. We're at 16,781, and same type of setup. We'll see whether the Dow can actually try to test out this 841 again, which would be 60 points higher. NASDAQ Composite. We take a look at the composite. What we have with the composite is this. She goes up $10. We do 1.6 billion. If we take a look at the NDX 100 and see that correlation inside the NDX 100, we did 23 million shares out here, which is going into 35. So composite is also, I mean, the index 100 is also going to need a little more juice as it tries to get up to a slightly higher price. Gold contract. What do we have with gold? Okay, so gold out here today, we did 94,000 contracts. We got to a price point of 1285.10. Now, what you have, folks, is this. The 1278 is a crucial number. The reason being is this. 1278 gets you back in the higher range where you can make the case that, okay, we're going to 1331. What we had out here today is that you had the first expansion getting up into that level. And, you know, at, what's it, 2 o'clock in the morning. So it made it at 2 o'clock in the morning. By 8 o'clock, it was already at the 1282. Bottom line, it hasn't been able to get up and stay into that level. And that level, by the way, is crucial. It is building cause to get in there, but it's not in that level yet. We're going to take a look at the silver contract, what we have with silver. A lot different setup in silver, actually. And what it is that silver is inside the larger range. It's certainly not in the range that it wants to go to 2220. It is in a larger range, though, that we're trading right now at 1965, and that would be saying that, guess what? It wants to run into this 20.43 area. Bonds, we take a look at the bond market. What continues in bonds is that they want higher price. Last week, what you had another sign of strength last week inside the bond market. We turned around. Here's the chart. Okay, so on Wednesday, you go topside once again, rejected lower price, had lighter volume, goes topside, gets to 124.20, had the juice behind the move. The 10-year is on its way to 126, and more than likely you're going to see another ABC structure on the way up. We go, when we take a look at the 30-year, we're at 135.30. Last swing point out there is 138. The 10-year looks, the 30-year looks like it's going to run into this 142 area. King dollar. We take a look at King dollar. What we have with King dollar is this. King dollar, sideways move out here today. We're at 80.46. That is building cause. It looks to me what you're building cause are two different deals. You're building cause to get into the highs of the 6th of June, as well as January and February swing highs. And January and February swing highs, folks, are out there at the 81.50 mark. Our phone number is 877-927-6648. What you did have out here, again, this morning is a slew, I mean an absolute slew of takeovers. What is unusual is that for the amount of equities that we're getting, companies taking over each other this morning, the market itself still didn't get real juice underneath it to get to higher price. If you want to see how bankers work, folks, this story here, this just came across the tape. Now listen to how deviant this is amazing, actually. Okay, so this is the headline. Morgan Stanley Valiant emails calls client a house of cards. Put this in the category of, if you can't say something nice, don't write it in an email. A few weeks ago, Morgan Stanley pitched its defense services to Allergan, which is fighting a hostile takeover bid from Valiant Pharmaceutical. Valiant was a house of cards with an unsustainable business model, Morgan Stanley bankers wrote in the emails to Allergan, which released them today. Well, watch this fight. This is all the financial sharks fighting each other, but you're going to see a couple different things inside this. The biggest part you can absolutely see is the hypocrisy and the bunch of, well, I'll read it and you can make your own choice here. Allergan decided not to hire Morgan Stanley, while Valiant recently did. The unusual disclosure of the emails was intended to bolster Allergan's argument that Valiant is a flawed buyer and shows how antagonistic the battle between the two pharmaceutical companies has begun. Mary Claire Delaney, a spokesman for Morgan Stanley, declined to comment on the release of the emails. A representative for Valiant did not immediately return phone calls. The emails were sent to Allergan Chief Executive Officer David Poyet and other company officers. On May 13th, according to Allergan, Robert Kinder, Morgan Stanley's global head of mergers and acquisitions, wrote that Allergan is not being nearly aggressive enough in going after the Valiant business model and currency. In another email, Morgan Stanley Managing Director David Hahn told Allergan Chief Financial Officer that Kinder could help thwart the deal. Part of what Rob Kinder is suggesting to Allergan is that to allow him to use a significant relationship with media and analysts to provide a clear and detailed articulation of why Valiant is a house of cards and your investors should not want to take their stock, according to a portion of the email released by Allergan. By the time of the emails, Morgan Stanley bankers were trying to make the case that they could present to investors a strong argument against the Valiant offer if Allergan hired them, said a person familiar with the matter who asked not to be identified. Because the email is private. Morgan Stanley rates Valiant stock overweight, which indicates the firm doesn't view the stock as a bad investment, the person said. Allergan, in a statement today, said the email suggests that Morgan Stanley shares Allergan's concern about Valiant's business model. Allergan has twice rejected Valiant's offer on June 10th. Bottom line is that you can see, I suspect that by the time, this just got released today by Allergan, and I'm sure Valiant didn't realize that Morgan Stanley was saying that their stock is a house of cards. They'll probably get fired. You stay right there, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. This is TFNN. We'll come right back.